The story opens in a fantasy world with a medieval setting, where we see a high school student named Rio lying down inside a bare cottage. The interior is almost empty, just a knife and 2 books rest on the table. Without paying much attention to them, Rio steps outside to get some fresh air. All he sees are towering mountains stretching in every direction. He looks down at his hands and says, "Water, come forth." A small splash of water appears in his palm, summoned by magic. This all began just a few days earlier, when Rio suddenly found himself in a blank, white space. As he tries to make sense of his surroundings, a celestial being appears and assures Rio that this isn't the afterlife. The angel, pleased to finally have someone to talk to, also breaks the news that Rio has died, hit by a truck back in his original world. Rio isn't too surprised and quickly figures out that he's been given a chance to live again. He casually refers to the angel as Michael in his head and asks what kind of life he should aim for this time around. Michael tells him to follow his heart. Rio decides he wants a peaceful, quiet life, nothing too flashy. Michael agrees and prepares to send him to a magical world called Fee. Before the transition, Michael gives Rio some background. Only about 20% of people in this world can actually use magic, but Rio will be one of them. He's naturally attuned to water magic. Since he asked for a quiet life, he's placed in a secluded area called the Forest of Rondo, living in a simple cottage. To help him settle in, Michael has stocked 2 months' worth of supplies inside a frozen storage hut nearby. He's also left behind 2 useful books, one about the world and another for learning magic. That's how Rio picks up his first spell, conjuring water from thin air. Fortunately, he doesn't need to worry about danger just yet. Michael has put up a protective barrier around the cottage to keep monsters at bay. Rio continues practicing and manages to summon water without needing to speak the spell aloud, just by visualizing it. Pretty handy. With this newfound ability, he fills the bathtub with water, though it's admittedly kind of strange, since the source seems to come from inside his own magic reserves. The water is freezing, so now he needs to figure out how to warm it up. He tries the classic fire starting method, rubbing sticks together, but it's a total failure. Frustrated, Rio starts thinking, maybe there's a magical solution to this too. Using the knowledge from his past life as a chemistry student, Rio separates hydrogen from oxygen, causing the water to freeze into ice. With the ice now in hand, he cleverly uses it to focus sunlight like a lens, eventually managing to create fire. Thanks to that fire, he finally warms up some water and takes a well-deserved, relaxing bath. Refreshed and clear-headed, Rio realizes he could have just reversed his ice-making method using magic to heat water instead. But he saves that thought for later. While eating, it hits him, he needs to start hunting soon or his food will run out. The problem is, stepping into the forest means running into monsters, and Rio knows the small knife Michael gave him won't be much help. That means he now has to figure out how to use combat magic. The next day, he starts practicing a simple spell, Water Ball. But when it hits a tree, it doesn't leave a scratch. So he adjusts it, narrowing the stream into an arrow shape. After hours of trial and error, he manages to produce a basic version of the water jet spell. Still, it's far from powerful, and the tree remains unharmed. So he shifts focus to ice magic instead, since water magic hasn't proven useful in a fight. He tries to create and control an ice crystal, but projecting it turns out to be harder than he expected. Despite the struggle, Rio eventually gets to the point where he can summon several ice crystals at once, though launching them remains out of reach. After days of non-stop effort, he finally gains the skill to form the crystals instantly, still not perfect, but it's enough to make do. Out of time and options, he decides to use the ice as a makeshift spearhead and heads into the forest. At a riverbank, he finds some quartz and feels a bit relieved. If he runs out of mana, he can still start fires manually. While gathering herbs, a monster known as a lesser boar charges at him. Frozen in fear, Rio nearly gets taken out before his instincts kick in just in time to dodge. This time, he fights back. He makes the ground slick with ice, sending the boar tumbling. Quickly, he summons sharp icicles that impale the creature, ending the threat. Rio pulls off some impressive water magic under pressure. But he knows he's far from ready. Back at his shelter, he flips through the monster compendium and quickly realizes the lesser boar is one of the weakest creatures out there. Determined to prepare, he studies the book, trying to understand what other dangers might lurk out there. When he gets to the dragon entry, the only advice given is to run, though it admits running probably won't help. Then he reads about something even worse, the Acuna. In that case, the book says not to run, just pray you never run into one. The book doesn't offer much guidance, but he keeps flipping through it anyway. The next morning, he gets ready and heads back outdoors. The day starts off well. He stumbles upon a tree filled with fruit. The first bite is pure joy, a small reward for all the trouble he faced the day before. The flavor alone feels like it was worth everything. Unfortunately, peace doesn't last long. A sudden attack from an assassin hawk knocks him flat. He quickly realizes he's completely outmatched. The bird is stronger, and it's using air-based magic that can't even be seen. There's no way to fight it head-on. He recalls something he read in the book and bolts, but outrunning a bird seems impossible. Eventually, realizing he can't escape, he stops and decides to face it. Using his ice magic, he freezes the hawk. Thinking he's won, he gets closer, only for the creature to shatter the ice. It's still alive, but now one of its eyes is badly injured. Recognizing that Rio has grown stronger, the hawk flees. Rio drops to the ground, exhausted, mumbling that the peaceful life he wanted isn't turning out to be so peaceful after all. Trying to return home, he soon realizes he's lost from all the running. While wandering the forest, he stumbles upon something terrifying, a Dullahan. The headless figure stands silently as smoke drifts from its neck, calmly tending to its horse. Eventually, he manages to find his way home. From that point on, he dedicates himself to improving. Whether it's battling wild creatures or fishing, his ice magic steadily becomes more powerful, strong enough to slice through a mountain. He keeps working to grow stronger, gradually adjusting to this unfamiliar lifestyle. Yet, each night he returns to the place where he first met the Dullahan. He doesn't go there to win, but because every clash with the creature seems to push him further. Oddly, there's no mention of Dullahans in the monster guide he's been studying. That could mean the Dullahan isn't actually a monster, or it's just not listed in beginner-level material. After yet another tough battle, he realizes something. Maybe the Dullahan keeps meeting him not to defeat him, but to help him grow. One night, he sees the creature form a blade out of ice. The Dullahan offers the sword to him. Understanding the gesture, he accepts it. After that, the figure silently vanishes. For the next few days, or perhaps weeks, things settle down for Rio. Until he comes face to face once more with an old enemy, the hawk. He's in the middle of training when the bird reappears. It's now missing one eye, and it's obvious this is the same hawk from before. However, it looks different, larger, darker, and more dangerous. It's evolved. It dives at him with overwhelming force. Rio quickly conjures a 5-layer ice barrier, but the hawk breaks right through it. He pushes harder, creating a 10-layer wall, but the hawk smashes through that too. As he unleashes his ice lancer, the hawk charges straight through the attack, aiming right for him. Losing balance, the support stick he relied on drops, and in a split-second decision, he grabs the sword he received from the Dullahan and strikes at the hawk. Surprisingly, the blade is effective. The hawk recoils but dives in once more. This time, he drives the sword deep into the creature, bringing it down for good. Walking over to its fallen body, he acknowledges the hawk's tenacity. After all, he did take its eye again. It had every reason to retaliate. But through this struggle, he grew stronger, and in that, he owes the hawk some gratitude. He realizes the hawk had evolved just to battle him, and in respect, he offers it a warrior's end, falling by his sword. He draws out the blade, and the hawk breathes its last. He then sets off once again, unaware of a powerful dragon watching nearby. Suddenly, the dragon approaches and speaks to him with an unexpected shock. Rio is stunned to hear a dragon's voice. The dragon, in turn, is relieved that he can use his telepathy once more. The dragon asks Rio if he's encountered a certain evolved hawk. Rio confirms he defeated it. Surprised, the dragon questions how Rio managed such a feat. Rio reveals the sword. The dragon immediately recognizes it as the blade of the Fairy King and wonders what Rio must have done to earn such a weapon. Rio, however, is just as puzzled. With his own questions answered, Rio asks the dragon a few of his own. They chat until nightfall before the dragon announces his departure. Before parting ways, Rio introduces himself, and the dragon responds with his name, Lewin. Life seems to be going exceptionally well for Rio in this new world. So much so that the angel who reincarnated him double-checks his divine record and finds something crucial he missed. Rio possesses a rare trait the angel hadn't accounted for, as no one sent to that world before had it: eternal youth. What does this power truly mean for Rio? How will it shape his future? Elsewhere, by a riverside, a red-haired boy lies motionless on the shore. Who is he? Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe for the next part.